In this video, I'll show you how easy it is to restore deleted or damaged data, or to revert to an earlier version of your data in your Smartsheet sheets, forms, and dashboards. When your organization installed SmartBackup, they configured the solution to automatically create recurring backup copies of your recently used sheets and dashboards. If everything was configured well, then these backups happen automatically. As a Smartsheet user, when SmartBackup is installed, the only small change you will see is that a new workspace has been created in your Smartsheet account. This workspace has a special name, which looks like this. The special workspace is used to store the backup copies that SmartBackup creates automatically, and it is referred to as the vault. When we go into this backup vault workspace, you will see that whenever SmartBackup runs, it creates a new folder with the date and time included in the name of the folder. This means that you can easily see when each backup set was created. Then, if you select one of these backup folders, you will see that it contains backup copies of your sheets and dashboards that were recently changed. Or it could also contain a complete set of backup copies of all your sheets and dashboards, depending on how your IT department has configured the solution. Now that you know where the backup copies are located, let's switch over to a live sheet and take a look at the process for restoring data. In this case, I'm going to open our demo campaign plane. As you can see, this looks like a typical Smartsheet sheet. It has formatting, data, drop-down lists, column formulas, cell formulas, links, images, attachments. It also has, in this case, automations, and it has a form. As you know, Smartsheet is an excellent business tool, and one of its best features is the ability to collaborate by sharing access to sheets, dashboards, and reports with your co-workers. However, at the same time, this collaboration capability also exposes a risk. What if one of your co-workers were to delete data or delete rows, or even change data by mistake in one of your shared sheets? How would you recover that data and go back to an earlier version? Well, thank goodness for SmartBackup. With SmartBackup, it is really easy to restore and go back to an earlier version of data in a sheet or dashboard. Now let's take a look at a few scenarios that you may encounter. First, let's see what happens if a user came into your sheet and deleted one of your formulas by mistake. So back in our demo sheet, if a user came in and deleted this cell formula and then they clicked save, or if autosave was turned on, then that formula would be gone forever. There's no way for them to undo that change and no way for you to get that formula back. However, with SmartBackup you are safe. To restore the formula, all you need to do is to go to your SmartBackup vault and locate the last backup copy of the sheet. In this case, we'll open the backup copy from July 12th. So in this backup copy, we can see that the cell formula exists, and all we need to do is to double click into the cell, copy the formula, switch back to the live sheet, double click into the cell where the formula was deleted, and then paste the formula back into that cell and click save. And you're back in business. For the next scenario, we will look at how to restore deleted rows. Now, back in our demo sheet, let's assume that a user came into the sheet and deleted a few rows. They would select the rows and click delete or use the delete command. Now again, if they click save, and then there's no way for you to recover those deleted rows. They're gone forever. But again, thank goodness for SmartBackup. The way to restore deleted rows, especially when they have attachments and conversations in Smartsheet using SmartBackup, is to locate the most recent copy of the sheet and then use the save as new command to create a copy of that sheet. Now that you have the copy, you can open the copy version of that sheet, of the backup copy, and now you can go into the sheet and locate the rows that were deleted. In this case, a few of them have attachments and conversations, and then open the row command and use the move to another sheet option. And in this case, you want to navigate back to the live sheet, which is the demo campaign plan, and click OK, and those rows will be moved to the live sheet. And now you can go back into the copy that you made of the backup copy and delete it just to make sure it's all cleaned up. Now we can go back to the live sheet. Remember to refresh the sheet so you can see the changes. And if we scroll down to the bottom, you'll see that these rows have now been added to the bottom of the sheet together with the attachments and the conversations. So at this point, all you need to do is to select those rows and then drag them into the location where the original location. And then click save, and now you've been able to restore your deleted rows. Now let's take a look at how to restore deleted cells. Once again, back in our demo campaign plan sheet, if a user were to come into one of these cells and delete the data, or perhaps overwrite the data with incorrect, invalid data, and then click saved. Again, at this point, it's very difficult to go back to that earlier version of the data unless you have SmartBackup. So in this case, we'll go into our Vault workspace. We'll locate the most recent correct copy of the sheet and open the sheet. And then once the sheet is opened, we can find the data that has been changed, select that data and copy, and go back to the live sheet, go into the cell that was changed, and then overwrite the data with the data from the backup copy, and then click save. In this way, you can restore a cell data that has been overwritten or deleted. In the next scenario, let's have a look at reverting to an earlier version of form data. So let's go back to our demo campaign plan. In this case, our campaign plan has a form associated with it. So if we open up the form, we can see that there is unique content in this form that only exists in the form and is not saved anywhere else inside or outside of Smartsheet. This data includes the title, the description, and also the help desk fields associated with each field, and also any label information. There's also additional settings that are not saved anywhere else inside or outside of Smartsheet, and this includes these settings for the different themes and brands, and then also text associated with the form submission and the sent emails of submissions. The information in these text boxes are not saved anywhere in Smartsheet or outside of Smartsheet other than when you have SmartBackup installed. So let's have a look what would happen if somebody came in who had admin rights. They came into the form and they did something like change, deleted data, or they overwrote data with new data. This scenario is also applicable if you wanted to go back to an earlier version of information that was contained in a sheet. So now if we go open that form again, you'll see the change has been saved, and the form data is basically, the earlier version is gone. But fortunately with SmartBackup, again, we can go to our Vault workspace, go to the most recent version of the sheet that we know is correct, open up the sheet, and then go to the form which is attached to that sheet, open up the form, and now you can see that we can revert to an earlier version of the text simply by copying the text in the form and going into the live sheet and then pasting that text back into the live sheet and click Save. Now you've reverted back to the live version. In a similar way, you can copy label text or helper text and paste it back into the live sheet. And as I mentioned, you can also go back to different settings or revert to copy information from these other form submission emails as well. So at this point, you're back in business. Now let's take a look at reverting to an earlier version of a drop-down list. So let's go back to our demo campaign plan. In a similar way, if a user were to go into your sheet and if they had the correct permissions, they could come and edit the column properties and select the drop-down options and make changes to this drop-down list. They could overwrite or delete items. And then again, if they click Saved, that earlier version of the drop-down list is gone forever unless you have SmartBackup. There's no other place where this information is stored. So in our case, fortunately, we do have a backup copy. So again, we can find our backup copy, open that backup copy, and then when the sheet opens, go into the column, open up the column properties, and now we can restore a portion or the entire drop-down list just by copying the values and going back to the live sheet and pasting them back into the live sheet and clicking OK and Save. So now at this point we've restored the drop-down column list values. Now in the next scenario, we're going to have a look at what happens if you don't have a backup copy in your backup vault. So let's go back to our demo campaign plan, and let's assume that there have been some changes to your sheet and you want to revert back to an earlier version. But when you go to the backup vault, for some reason you may not find a backup copy of your sheet in the backup vault. And there could be various reasons for this. SmartBackup can be configured to only backup recently changed sheets, or it can be configured to backup all your sheets. And in this case, when SmartBackup ran on this date, there were no sheets to backup, so it didn't make a copy. Another situation will be that your IT team can configure SmartBackup to only keep a certain number of sheets in your backup vault. In this case, what you need to do is to reach out to your IT department and have them restore the data that you need from an export backup copy that they will have available on the IT server. To provide a bit of context there, basically if the backup copy is not available in the vault, then you can reach out to your IT support team, and they should have a copy of your sheet that was saved using the export function and is available in the export backup copies file system on the server. Then they can use that copy to import or create a new backup copy in your workspace or copy the data that you need back to your workspace. Now finally, let's take a look at the scenario of restoring a deleted sheet. For this scenario, there are potentially 3 ways to do the restore. These include restoring from the deleted items folder, restoring from a backup copy in the vault, or restoring from an export copy with the help from your IT department. So back in your Smartsheet environment, if a sheet gets deleted, so for example, if I were to delete this sheet, the best way to restore this sheet at this point is to go to your deleted items folder and then find the sheet that was deleted, right click on that sheet and click undelete. This will restore the sheet to your sheets folder, and then you'd need to just move it back into the correct location within your Smartsheet structure. Remember, when you do this, this is the absolute best way to restore a deleted sheet. And the reason is that if you right click on the sheet and you go to the properties, you'll find that the sheet ID is retained, which means that wherever this sheet was used in any reports or dashboards, it will automatically be reinstated in those reports and dashboards. So again, this is the best way to restore a sheet that has been deleted. And it has all of the information. In fact, if you were to right click on the cell and view the cell history, it would also have the cell history in place. If that option fails, so for example, if a user were to delete the sheet, so let's select the sheet and delete the sheet, and then go into the deleted items folder and then right click and click delete forever, then the sheet with that unique ID will be gone forever. But again, fortunately with SmartBackup, you still have a way to restore that sheet in that case. So what you want to do is to go back to your SmartBackup vault and then find the backup that contains a copy of that sheet. And then what you would want to do is you right click on the backup copy and then click the Save as New option. And then you'd select the location that you wanted to restore the sheet to, and you can click Save at that point, and then go back to your Sheets folder and then locate the sheet, and then you'd be able to rename the new copy back to the original name. So in this case, now the backup copy has been restored, the sheet has been restored, and you'll be back in business. The only thing is that the properties would have changed. So this sheet now has a new sheet ID, a new unique sheet ID, and so that means that you would need to reconnect this new sheet into any dashboards and reports that it was used in before. And then the third option would be, if you don't have a backup copy in your vault of that sheet, then you'd have to get the IT team to restore from the export copies. So that completes this user guide for restoring sheets in SmartBackup. And you can find more information on our website at www.accuworkflow.com. Or for other questions, please contact your IT department. Thanks for watching.